Hello, everyone. Back with part 10 of the weekly watches. So I think it's been 10 days since I did the last one. I did check on YouTube yesterday and I think it was 9. So obviously, depending on the 24-hour thing, it might have gone to 10 days. But watched 9 films in that time. Few on DVD, few Blu-ray, few 4K. Kind of without meaning to, I've had quite a horror themed, I say week, 10 days or so. What I've been finding is I come out to this, what I call the movie room, to pick a film. I've got so many here. I'll spend 2 hours looking through them all, and then the time to watch a film has passed. So what I've been doing recently on days off or whatever, when I've got a bit more time, I'll grab like 5 or so different ones, take them into the front room. Then when I go to watch a film, it's a bit easier once I've got it narrowed down to choose from like 9 films rather than the thousands I've got here. Right, enough waffle. On with the watches. So, first one I watched, 10 days ago, I guess. Reincarnation. Sorry if there's a bit of glare. It's not that sunny in England, but light to shine straight in through the window. So, this is directed by Takashi Shimizu, who also does The Grudge, and I think he's got another one. I definitely know he does The Grudge. Oh, and Marabito, which is one I watched recently. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as Marabito. I have watched this before, but it must have been like 12 years or so since the first time I've watched it. I'm not going to say all of these blur into one. Obviously, there is a lot of different genres and things within the Tartan Asia Extreme label. Um, Probably only like 20 out of the 80 or so are actually like proper horror. Quite a dark, creepy one. Japanese film, 95 minutes. It's an 18, contains strong violence and horror. Most memorable thing about this, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the back there. It's like a creepy doll. And not a creepy doll in terms of Megan or M. Freegan, whatever you call her, Robert, Chucky, all those creepy doll alumni. But it's like an actual doll a girl carries around, and she's got like weird, creepy eyes and a smashed face, and it says more of a supernatural than a ghost one. Really creepy. Yeah, it's a good one. Not one of the best I've seen from Tartan Asia Extreme. Yeah, probably not as good as The Grudge. I mean, they always keep advertising this Takashi Shimizu, director of The Grudge, but The Grudge wasn't actually on Tartan Asia Extreme. I do have it on DVD, the sort of original Japanese version. Probably in the top half of the sort of horrors I've seen from the Tartan Asia Extreme. I'd probably give that a 7 out of 10. Some quite. Can't remember there being too many jump scares. A lot of jump scares don't really get me now, but it's really creepy, sort of slow burn. If you're into your horror in general, but especially Japanese horror, then I think you would enjoy that one. Next one, I've got a recommendation from Stuart George's Home Movies. So when we was in Birmingham, I think it was in the standard HMV rather than the vaults. Stuart was saying this is one of the best Hammer horror films. Obviously been interested in getting into Hammer. A lot of the older films, like the old Nosferatu, Hammer films, the Universal monsters, are always kind of ones that have escaped me. It's not that what's the word? Look down on those and wouldn't go back to watch older films. Just a lot of them I've not got around to. But this one is from 1967. 96 minutes the Blu-ray, 92 minutes the DVD. So I'm guessing the DVD version is slightly cut. 15 contains moderate violence and horror. Directed by Terence Fisher. Starring Christopher Lee. Obviously, I've not seen too many Hammer films, but I always thought Christopher Lee usually plays more of a villain. So obviously, you've got him in as Dracula, where he's the villain. You've got him in The Wicker Man, where he kind of plays the villain. Whereas, in this, he's kind of like the main protagonist. It's also got Charles Gray, who plays the main villain in this. Got really piercing, like, blue eyes. The bits when he's hypnotising people, he looks really intense. I think it must be pronounced Nikkei Arigi, who I think is that lady there, if you can see her. Very pretty. Leon Green kind of plays the muscle in this. He's sort of fighting like 10 guys at once. Quite a sort of jack guy. I did say in the Movie Looms WhatsApp group that I thought I'd seen this guy in something. I say recently, within the last year or so, before I started doing the recent watches. Stuart said he was in a few of the Carry On films, so that's probably where I remember him from. Also starring Patrick Mower, Gren Francon Davis, Sarah Lawson, and Paul Eddington. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. Not just a well-made film, but entertaining, and yeah, some original concepts in it. I'm not sure. Someone will have to let me know, but I'd be surprised if this wasn't quite controversial on its release back in 1967. So obviously, it's before The Exorcist, back when more of Britain was Christian, or shall I say, religious in general. And yeah, it does have a lot of like devilish themes. There's a bit when they kind of summon the devil. I don't think they're calling him like Satan in this. They call him, is it like Thoth or something? But then they summon, what's he called? It's basically Grim Reaper. I think they call him like the Spirit Ghost of Death or something. Looks really creepy when he comes on his horse. Yeah, well acted all round, good music. Got quite a few extras which I haven't watched yet. But yeah, I was impressed by that one. Obviously, one of the sort of first Hammers I've watched, so a good place to start. It was meant to be one of the better ones, should I say. And yeah, we'll be watching this again and kind of spurred me on to get some more Hammer. So yeah, I'd give that 8 out of 10. This one, not usually my kind of thing. You know, I try and be open to watch anything, but sort of political thrillers aren't usually something that would draw me in. But September 5, directed by Tim Felbaum. I did say again in the group, has he directed anything else? And Ollie did say he'd done something else, which I can't remember the name of. I think Jodie said she thought he'd done something else as well. Starring Peter Sarsgaard, really good in this. John Magaro, Ben Chaplin, Leonie Benesh, based on a true story. I know Giz Parsons did say when I showed this in a sort of purchases, haul video, whatever you want to call it, he can remember when it happened. So yeah, it was 1972 Summer Olympics. So yeah, I bet it was sort of very monumentous event when this happened on the news coverage and things. But yeah, unlike Munich by Steven Spielberg, and there's another one Jodie from Jodie's movie realm spoke about. I think it's also called Munich 7 or something. I guess it might be Munich 5 if it's set on September. I can't remember the title. I'm sure Jodie will comment down below if she's watching this. I think they show it more from the point of the people that go in to save the hostages, or from the sort of crime point of view, whereas this shows it more from the sort of media coverage point of view. So yeah, it's like a sports team. Once this, obviously they're covering the Olympics, once this starts happening, what they call the main news team are not on site. They're not in the country, well, in Munich, in Germany. So they have to kind of wing it and improvise, and they're sort of reporting it all. And then there's a guy in their ranks who pretends to be like a Olympic weightlifter, and they like strap weights and things around his chest, send him in sort of what's the word? Clandestinely, sort of pretend he's one of the athletes in the Olympic Village and get some coverage. But yeah, really taut, really tense thriller, really well made. Yeah, I was impressed by that. Yeah, I'd probably give that an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. Next is one I have watched years ago. Again, I originally watched it on Tartan Asia Extreme. I'll show you the cover on that because it is slightly different artwork to this one I've got here. Remember I enjoying it, but I think I watched it around the same time as Old Boy, and it is quite similar. Let me just check the year. So that was 2005. Old Boy came out 2003. So I'm not saying it's sort of copying Old Boy in any way, but obviously if you've got a Korean film set in the sort of criminal underworld, a lot of martial arts and fighting, some kind of heavy themes, some gore, really good music, well shot, then it is going to have a similar feel, but that's not taking anything away from it. Yeah, I remembered liking it before, but watching it again now, yeah, really gone up in my estimations. It's, yeah, A Bittersweet Life by Kim Ji-woon. One of my favourite Korean directors, Kim Ji-woon, very diverse. I will say most of his films do have some really sort of shocking violence and gore, especially I Saw the Devil. Probably not as strong as that, but there is some strong bits. The main guy in it, can't actually find his name. I was looking. I'm guessing it might be Lee Byung-hun. Yeah, Lee Byung-hun, I guess. Let me know if you know more than I do on this. But yeah, not only is he a good actor, delivers his dialogue and things well in his emotional scenes, but really sells the martial arts. I mean, he's quite a slim guy, but he's sort of spinning around on tables, kicking people, flying kicks, fighting like multiple men at once. bits when he uses a gun and that. He's really sort of basically a hitman kind of guy. He was really great in it. Well shot, good acting all round, good story, bit of a mystery. One bit, without sort of spoiling it, where he sort of gets in a in a scenario where he's going to be tortured. You're kind of thinking, how is he going to get out of this? It keeps you guessing all the way through. The score is amazing. Part of the story, it's not a spoiler to say. I'll read the back out because it's only 2 sentences. A loyal gangster falls foul of his gang when he's assigned to keep watch over the young mistress of his crime boss. Things take a violent and bloody turn when he is unable to carry out an order to dispatch the girlfriend and a new lover. He basically goes to see the woman he's meant to be sort of protecting, and she's at I think it's a violin rather than a cello, at a recital. And the main theme she's playing not only is amazing, I think she really does play it, but then they use that theme and play it on piano and sort of orchestra. And then every time an emotional, poignant scene happens, that music sort of gets played back out. So really good music. Great film all round, really entertaining. Like I say, well shot, a bit of a noir kind of film, mostly set at night in the rain and things. Director of photography is Kim Ji-hee. Brilliant cinematography. It's a nice set with the 4K in there. Obviously remembered it before and liked it, but having rewatched it again, especially on 4K, this really went up in my estimations. Really good ending, really satisfying. I mean, without spoiling it, it kind of feels like it's going to end, and you're satisfied with that. And then another sort of 5 minutes come, and it does that about 3 to 5 times. And a lot of films, when they do that, you're like, oh, you've over-egged the pudding, you should have just ended it. It was a perfect ending, and you've gone on. Whereas no, each time you think it's going to end and you're satisfied, have another little sort of 5-minute bit, and each bit just gets better and better, and kind of respects the kind of story more. But give that a 9 out of 10 as well. So mostly all good watches so far. This one I did speak about on my purchases, so I won't go into too much detail talking about this. But Nosferatu on 4K by Robert Eggers. Maybe my favourite Robert Eggers film now. I'd have to not only watch this again, but I haven't seen The Northman. I think it's Stellan Skarsgård, but heard quite mixed things about it. A lot of people didn't like it. Some people have ranked it their lowest out of his films. I do really like The Witch, but it is slow burn, sort of old English language. I know people didn't get on with that. As I'd say, The Witch is a tougher watch. It's a bit more entertaining. I do really like The Lighthouse, very surreal, which does have Willem Dafoe. He has got a small part in this. Lily Rose Depp, really good in it. She hasn't got a massive amount of scenes, but the scenes where she's kind of showing emotion and basically pining for Count Orlaf, I think he's called, she really sells it. Nicholas Hoult, kind of the not best actor, but sort of the main character, I guess, and has probably the most screen time, really good in it. Bill Skarsgård, I mean, you can't really tell it's him when he's in his makeup. Let me know if anybody knows. I've mentioned this when I showed the sort of haul video with this one in. I don't know whether they use a voice effects on his voice, or whether he's really putting on that voice. But not only is it Eastern European with a thick accent, it's booming, it's dark and creepy, his laugh is haunting, really foreboding. I think Stuart said the same when he spoke about this. The voice, one of the best voices I've heard in any sort of antagonist in any film ever. Really good, the way he moves and things. Good story. I think I did say again before when I picked this one up, showed it in the recent purchases. Did think it'd be boring, but I was kind of with a slow burn film, and I know some of Robert Eggers films, how entertaining will it be? But no, it really kept me glued to the screen. Really enjoyed it. Looks amazing, really good soundtrack. Really like the setting in the rural village with all the snow and the big castle. Some quite strong gore scene. I mean, it says strong horror, injury, detail, violence, and sex, only a 15. But surprises a 15. There's a few nasty bits, and then without sort of spoiling it, there's a bit with a pigeon, is what I'm going to say. That really sort of, I think I was eating at the time. That really turned my stomach and kind of played on my mind. Found that bit quite disturbing. It's got a 2 hours 12 minutes and a 2 hours 15 minute cut. So I watched the longer 2 hour 15 minute cut. Not really sure what the difference is. Maybe there's a bit cut out, or it's just a bit of extra sort of story fluffing it out. I'd probably give this an 8 out of 10 as well. We'll be going back to watch that again soon. And if you want to see sort of throwback period kind of piece horror, then yeah, this really sort of takes you there to the setting and things. Really atmospheric, really creepy, slow but not boring. I do have to now go back and watch the original Nosferatu, directed by F.W. Murnau. So yeah, quite shamefully, really, I've watched this before I watched the original, but this has inspired me to go back and watch the original. This one, yeah, maybe my worst watch of the week. Not saying it's like an awful film, but I Will Never Leave You Alone. Quite a new release on the Arrow Video boutique label. I did kind of wrongfully say on the pickups that I thought this was a stalker kind of heretic style, but it's not. It's basically more like a haunted house kind of film. I'll read you a little synopsis because this isn't going on too long and I've only got 3 more to show after this. So after being released from prison, Richard is given an opportunity to restart his life by a mysterious company who offer him $5,000 to spend 6 days in a dilapidated house to cleanse it of evil spirits. His handler assures him this is only to put any potential buyer's superstitions to rest and that he has nothing to fear. But Richard's sojourn is haunted by an inscrutable figure hiding in the corners of the house that seems to have a connection with his dark past. As his sinister neighbour's appearances become more frequent, Richard must confront the terrifying reason that sent him to prison and risk slipping into madness. I Will Never Leave You Alone is a haunting exploration of trauma, dripping with atmosphere from an exciting new voice in American independent horror. It's an 18, contains strong bloody violence, injury detail, suicide scene, 95 minutes from 2024. Yeah, it wasn't the best made film. I found it a bit confusing, not sure what it's meant to be. Quite sort of slow. The acting, it was realistic, but there was a few bits with like the emotional scenes. I wasn't sure if it was just the way it was acted or if it was me. It kind of, yeah, the acting didn't seem great. But then when I watched the extras and it interviews the director, he said he was really sort of happy with the actors and what they sort of managed to do. So maybe it's me. If anybody else has seen this, let me know. Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. No kind of B movie acting, but the bits when they're just talking, that was fine. And then there's a bit with the main woman in it. I guess she's called Katarina Eichenberger. When she's sort of shouting and crying, yeah, it might have just been the way the film was, where it's sort of hyper emotional, but yeah, it did seem a bit weird. A couple of sort of jump scares, like it says, really dark, thick atmosphere. The sort of shadow creatures do look creepy in it. Yeah, I think on IMDb this has got like 5.5 or 6 out of 10, so it wasn't quite a blind buy, and yeah, it's got mixed things. Some people really hated it, some people was sort of giving it 9 or 10, saying really impressive original take on horror, especially the haunted house genre. So I kind of wanted to give it a go for myself. And yeah, it was not badly made, but it just felt like something was kind of missing a bit from the story or the plot. I will say, I will agree, a lot of people were saying that if the French extreme directors that directed the likes of Martyrs, Inside, Frontiers, see if I can see it, High Tension, Sheetan, films like that, were to make a haunted house film, this is what it would be like. And yeah, I do agree with that. This has got some very strong gory moments in it. Without spoiling it, there's a bit with a microwave is all I'm going to say. You kind of see the aftermath of what happens with the microwave, and they really show it in unflinching detail. And yeah, I found that quite hard to watch. And then when it sort of mentions on here the suicide scene, again, without spoiling it, something happens with a car that is really brutal. Yeah, there's a few things in this that really shocked me and played on my mind. You know, I'm quite jaded over the years by all these sort of extreme horror. I've seen a lot of what you'd call like sort of most notorious ones on the list, like Salò, a Serbian film, Martyrs, things like that. It doesn't pack the emotional punch of something like Martyrs, but yeah, I would sort of say warning if you're not into your sort of strong horror stuff. Maybe Ollie Beware, I doubt you'd watch this, but if you found Kill List hard going, then this is probably going to give you nightmares. Yeah, like I say, there's a few scenes that are really nasty. Gonna have to check and see if this, written and directed by D.W. Medoff, whether he's done anything previously, or keep an eye on what he's got coming forward. I think if he made a film a bit more entertaining, a bit more sort of going on, because yeah, he gets the atmosphere and the sort of shocks and things right. It just seemed to be lacking a bit in the story kind of department. Then yeah, I think he's an interesting director to watch going forward, especially if he's making these kind of independent American horror. But yeah, did enjoy it, but quite flawed, and yeah, I'd probably give that a 6.5, 7 out of 10. So maybe the lowest ranked one so far, although this next one is sort of vying for bottom spot with it. Did really enjoy it. One's been on my radar for quite a long time, but again, Jodie from Jodie's Movie Realm sort of picked this up and showed it, and had my eye looking out for it. Didn't really find it in CEX or anywhere. I think it might be out of print, but came across it in a charity shop. Is Lair of the White Worm, or The Lair of the White Worm, by Ken Russell, starring I said last time Amanda Donohoe. It might be Amanda Donohue. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. She's really good in it. Without spoiling it, she's naked in quite a lot of it and looks good. A young Hugh Grant, good in this. Catherine Oxenberg, Peter Capaldi. Without being mean to Peter Capaldi, he's good in it, but even though he must be 20 in this, he still looks the same as he does now at like 50 odd. Obviously famous from Doctor Who. And Sammy Davis as Mary. Special appearance by Stratford Johns. Yeah, it's an 18, strong violence, gore, sexual violence. Had some quite sort of shocking moments, not on the level of I Will Never Leave You Alone, but 1988. Yeah, Jodie did say when we was talking about this in the Movie Looms group, if you can get past the sort of opening acting, then you should get on with it. And yeah, the actors at the start not only were bad actors, but the kind of style they were delivering their lines just really seemed off key. I've never had any acting lessons, but I think I could do a better acting job than some of those. But yeah, it's just really the opening. Once these main characters, film stars, actors, whatever you call them, come in, then it is a lot better. Yeah, it's a bit hokey and very weird and surreal, which I do enjoy. Probably one of Ken Russell's less serious films compared to like The Devils and I've got another one by him. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. But once I've heard of him, I think he directed the one about is it Tommy? Things like that. Yeah, this seems a bit more of his weirdest. I mean, his films are weird, but less serious kind of film. Yeah, it's a bit hokey and sort of B-movie, but I enjoy it. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's brilliantly made. Yeah, probably a bit better than I Will Never Leave You Alone. So I give that a 6.5 out of 10. I'll give that a 7 out of 10. Like I say, enjoyable. I will watch it again. Yeah, it's not the best made film, but yeah, there's some good sort of horror scenes. Without spoiling it, the actual White Worm is interesting. It has a good payoff. Some real sort of weird surreal imagery, like this sort of snake woman. Yeah, a few bits where it does go there with quite intense horror and things. Right, I don't know if you can hear that, but the council's decided to come and cut the grass in the rain, so I'm just going to shut the window a sec so you can't hear. You can't hear all that going on. Sorry about that. They usually do it on my day off at 9 in the morning and wake me up after I've been on a late. Right, only 2 more, so try and get this wrapped up within the next 5 minutes. This next one, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty insane. Will kind of, I don't know if it's more graphic than I Will Never Leave You Alone, but it's probably more offensive and controversial. I have only got this on DVD. Once we started talking about it in the Lords of Darkness group, Marcus was interested in it. Looked on CEX. I think it's going for £30 on DVD, so it's obviously well out of print. Is Suicide Club by Sion Sono. So it's a Japanese film, also known as Suicide Circle. Original Japanese title is Jizatsu Sakuru. I'll read you a little synopsis on the back just so you can get an idea of how insane it is. So 54 high school girls throw themselves in front of a subway train, but this is only the beginning of a string of suicides around the country. Does the new all-girl group Desert have anything to do with it? Detective Kuroda is determined to find the answer, but this proves far harder than he had imagined. It's an 18, contains strong bloody violence and gore, they're not lying. 2002 it came out, 99 minutes, so not too long. Obviously it has English subtitles. Don't know if it has a Japanese dub, but I always watch it with subtitles. Starring Ryo Ishibashi from Audition. Yeah, I guess this is quite controversial as it's sort of teenagers that are not only dying in graphic detail, but yeah, basically the 54 girls at the very opening scene of the film, just to set the scene and tell you what you're in for. They're all holding hands, just jumping in front of a subway train. All the people on the train see all the blood and that splat all over their windows. I think some of the blood is like CGI blood. Wasn't so bad it took me out of the film. The blood, when it sort of settles on the windows and when it's on things, looks like actual practical blood. But yeah, there is a bit of CGI blood. It's obviously the main story of the sort of suicide cults but then there's a few subplots go in. So I don't know if you can see that guy there with the long hair, but I know Stuart likes his musicals. There is one musical number which is just surreal because out of nowhere, this guy just starts singing a weird song and playing a guitar, and he's got a band joining in, and it's not even like he sort of, they're at karaoke and does it. It just randomly comes out of nowhere. Doesn't take you out of the film, like I say, and I'm not a big music fan, but musical fan, should I say. But yeah, it's only one musical number, but just very bizarre. Sort of another subplot, which was probably my favourite bit of the film, where they've got this sort of black sack they find with something in it, and you think it's going to be a body part. When they open the black sack and the detectives are like being sick and stuff, they unearth a big sort of roll of skin, and when they unroll it, basically each suicide victim, I say victim, they've chose to do this, they're in a suicide cult, they've sort of taken a piece of their skin and stitched it all together with like 100 and, I think at one point 130 or so victims jump off of a building, and yeah, then they find this roll of skin. It looks really gross and sort of realistic, and then that's like one of the subplots. Then there's a subplot with this girl. I don't think she's involved in it. She's like a teenager, but she rings the police. She's kind of giving them clues, and she's sort of studying it herself and trying to come up with a solution, and the police are like dumb and they don't know, so they're going along with what she says. And then there's like a group of criminals, and you're wondering if they're in on this what do I say, instigating the suicide cult. Then there's also that subplot, as it says on the back, there's like a kind of J-pop girl group called Dessert, and certain numbers come up in their videos which ties into the numbers of people dying. And yeah, there's quite a feue subplots going on, so it's kind of got a bit of intrigue. It's a bit of a mystery. It's not just straight up gore and that. Yeah, it's got a bit more to it. Sion Sono also did, I think it's called Strange Circus, which I think is the best film by him. Spoiler alert for my next pickups, I got a few more things in CEX. Coincidentally, picked up a film called Trapped in a Ghost Land or something with Nicolas Cage, which is a English-speaking Sion Sono film. So yeah, a couple of days after watching this, randomly picked up another Sion Sono without realising it. That's like the alternative artwork. But yeah, I would say if you're kind of not into gore and stuff, you might find this shocking. Not just the gore and stuff you see, but obviously, yeah, the fact it's happening to high school, not just girls, there's boys as well, but yeah, there's a bit when they're on a roof, all these school kids, and then one of them's like, we should jump off the roof. And then without any hesitation, the others are like, yeah, I'll join you. And then about 50 of them all hold hands, jump off this, like the school roof, and everyone in the building can see them falling, they're hitting the floor, exploding, blood flying over the windows. So yeah, it is kind of really nasty kind of film, but unlike some of these nasty ones where it's all about the torture and stuff, it does not only have a good story and well made, but like I say, it has about 5 subplots going on with a lot of intrigue, and you're kind of wondering, someone instigating it online, or someone sort of brainwashing them, giving them drugs? How are they all getting involved in these suicide cults? But it will reveal itself. But yeah, I'd give that one, yeah, probably 7 out of 10. It's entertaining, but like I say, viewer beware, it's probably not for everybody. And then the last watch of the week, this I think was my third time viewing this. I don't think it's ever had a Blu-ray or 4K upgrade, although can get it in CEX. I've seen it in the one in Bristol for about £1, £1.50, so might be out of print, but it's not too rare and expensive, called Banshee Chapter. Yeah, so it's really creepy, good atmosphere, few jump scares, but not just like make a noise and make you jump out of nowhere like I sort of lambasted Sinners for. It does like build up the jump scare as well. Some really creepy nightmare imagery, good story. Directed by Blair Erickson. Not sure if that's a man or a woman or what else they've done, but would be interested to find out. It's from 2014, starring Katia Winter. Not only a good actress, but really nice to look at. Michael Macmillan and Ted Levine. I always think Ted Levine was played Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs, but I think that was Scott Glenn. So I'm not sure what else Ted Levine's been in, but I definitely recognise him. I think maybe he was in the remake of Hills Have Eyes, the Alexander Arjar film. Yeah, without sort of spoiling it, it's basically got, if anyone's ever heard of MK Ultra, it really happened. Clinton admitted to it in, I guess, the 90s. In the 60s, where Russians and things were trying to brainwash or mind control people, America started their own program where they took unwitting civilians off of the streets, basically gave them massive doses of DMT, like dimethyltryptamine, I think it's called, and LSD, sort of psychoactive, hallucinogenic drugs, pumped them full of it. Like, obviously, people do it recreationally. They gave them like way more than you should have. Shut them in a dark room, sort of strapped them down, gave them things to scare them, and basically seen how far they could push the human, I say brain, the human psyche before it snapped. So yeah, I've sort of was studying, watching documentaries and things before I watched this about MK Ultra and found it really interesting. And I don't know if anyone might have ever heard of number stations, but there was a thing here, might still be going on now, but years ago where you could sort of on the radio tune into like I think a shortwave broadcast, and there'd be a station with like static, and then all you hear is like a robotic woman's voice just saying like 4, 9, 17 and reading out these numbers, and it's got a really creepy kind of atmosphere to the radio station. I still don't think people really ever got to the bottom of what it was, but a lot of people think it was like KGB agents or criminal gangs, political kind of. Basically, it's just a encoded, encrypted way of people communicating. So, you know, say you were in on this gang and they were trying to deliver a message, then you'd hear the numbers repeating a 4, 11, whatever, and it might mean something to you. But yeah, obviously when I first went to watch this, like not long been interested in MK Ultra and the number stations. And this actually has both of those going on as a sort of subplot. But basically, it's not really a spoiler to say, it's not so much aliens, and it's ambiguous. You don't really know. Obviously, the people have taken these hallucinogenic drugs, but it kind of implies that once you're on DMT and things, it basically makes you like a gateway to these interdimensional beings. So obviously, it's a case of these people have taken a load of like hallucinogens. Are they really seeing these things and these sort of creatures are really coming, or are they tripping balls, so to speak? So yeah, a bit of intrigue to that, and then they basically. Ted Levine's character plays what's his name? It's a guy, Hunter S. Thompson, who was like, he was a novelist and wrote books, but he was kind of most famous for being a sort of drug explorer, and he took like what you call heroic doses of like LSD, acid, mushrooms, research chemicals, to sort of go on these trips, and he wrote books and things about it. And yeah, Ted Levine's character plays like a character kind of like him. So not only has he written books, but if people want these like research chemicals, they go to him. He knows all about all the drugs and stuff. And yeah, a couple of people basically want to try this drug, so they take it, and then obviously weird stuff starts happening, and they're kind of like, am I hallucinating this, or is it true? But yeah, there's a few really tense scenes, really creepy bits. Bit I really liked when they go in a car out to the desert so they can get a better signal for the number stations and they're tuning in. But yeah, sort of they bring together the plot of MK Ultra, the plot of number stations, and the plot of these kind of interdimensional beings. But yeah, like I said, not really a spoiler to say because it's meant to be ambiguous, so it's hard to know throughout most of the film whether these things are really happening or whether these people are just hallucinating. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. Yeah, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. As far as sort of low budget, I think it's quite unknown, a bit dusty, horrors go. Then yeah, I think this is one probably a lot of people haven't heard of. But if it sounds interesting to you, then give it a watch. Like I say, yeah, if you're interested in MK Ultra and number stations, it's got that, but it's also got a bit of like Absentia by Mike Flanagan, sort of slow burn, creepy. Some nightmare imagery, yeah, a few like well-crafted jump scares. Then if you can see that on the back, like a creepy face in like a little pipe. They go to this like underground vault. Yeah, Ted Levine really good in it. Really sells the character of the kind of drug explorer that everybody looks up to. But yeah, that's everything I've watched. I say this week in the last 10 days or so. Hoping to upload this afternoon on a Monday. I'm recording this on Monday, so I'm going to give a little plug to the Movie Loons live stream. So yeah, go and check that out. I think obviously it's on Ollie's channel. Ollie Loves Films. I think Ollie's putting it back to 8:30 today to wait for someone to join. So yeah, go and check that out. Sure, a lot of people that watch me probably aware of the streams and Ollie and the Movie Loons in general. Not sure who's going to be on there guest-wise or anything, so I won't say. Maybe some special surprise guests. I I know they have been sort of saying jokingly in the group that I always end my videos really abruptly out of nowhere, and I think Ash from Popcorn and Horror said he'd usually type in the comment, and then as he's doing it, it comes autoplay onto the next video. So fair warning, I'm going to end this video now. So thank you for watching, everybody. Yeah, I'll be back. Probably record it in a minute and upload it in a few days, so I'm not sort of oversaturating my channel with too much and overwhelming everybody. But yeah, I've got quite a few pickups from CEX, and then Ash sent me the Dog Soldiers 4K on second sight that I've showed in the second sight, and a few other surprises which I'm going to show. So yeah, a bit of a haul video I'll be doing next, so stay tuned for that one. And I'll say bye, and it'll be ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bye.